Good morning, everyone. My name's Hatchie. Like you mentioned, if people call me Anthony, I'm in a world of trouble. So, yeah, either my mum and I haven't made my bed or something like that. So, we're all here to talk about large animal rescue, and yet they've been doing it for years, not so well. We've only been doing it for a few years, and well, doing it properly for a few years in Australia. And that's, we're going to talk about where we've gone, or where we've come from, where we've gone, and where we're actually going. So, Dave King is from Hawkesbury State Emergency Service, and Dave was going to be here with me today to help deliver this training. But if anyone's seen up in Sydney, we had some fires, and Dave was actually the incident controller of the big fires up in the Blue Mountains that are still ripping through the Blue Mountains at the moment. So we've been locked in to come here for months and months and months, and then someone lit a fire and now Dave can't come, which is unfortunate. But Chris Eburns from Dorrigo SES has stepped in to fill Dave's shoes and assist me. Chris has been very instrumental in some of the development of equipment in the SES. What's happened is over in America, they've got loads of money for animal rescue. They've got big semi-trailers with animal rescue and all sorts of stuff. Are we going to have that here in Australia? No. So we've got to try and find really different ways to get equipment, how to improvise equipment, how to make equipment nice and cheaply so we can do it. And we'll proceed through that. So Chris is here today and he'll be helping me in the demonstrations. Along with a couple of other people. Sonia Hatch, she'll be helping me. And I'm going to rope in a few other people who don't know about it yet. I'm not going to say it because they'll leave. Okay, the background in New South Wales. State Emergency Service, or the SES, have got 229 SES units in our state. Not all of those guys do rescue. But we've been around for a fairly long time and we help in emergencies. We've got 72 rescue units, and those rescue units do a wide range of activities. They're trained in all sorts of things. If you get stuck, they'll turn up to help you. So, road crash rescue, over on the left-hand side there, they're the guys that turn up and cut people out of cars. Swiftwater rescue, when someone's being washed down a raging river. We've just trained some of our operators to do casting, which is, seen the helicopter flying along and the guys that are standing on the skids and they fly in over the top of a casualty and then they step off, swim, dive into the water, go grab them. That's what our guys do. These are all volunteers. They train in really, really hard for this stuff. Vertical rescue. People over cliffs, caught in all sorts of areas. There's so much rescue that these guys do. And they also do animal rescue. Just in New South Wales alone, why do we do animal rescue? I know in England, Jim says to me, you know, it's a humanitarian thing. We've actually got something called the State Rescue Board, which says that any rescue unit in New South Wales has to do this, and it's called State Rescue Board policy defines rescue as the safe removal of domestic animals from threatened danger or physical harm. Now, what does domestic animals say? Here we go. Proctor, Protection of Cruelty to Animals Act, says that a domestic animal is any animal that has been trained, partially trained, in the process of being trained, or, although hasn't been trained, partially trained, or in the process of being trained, has become trained, partially trained, or... second breath. That's what the definition is. So, an elephant at the zoo, if it falls over and falls into a moat, in our area, is it partially trained? Yeah, lifts its foot up, gets its feet cleaned, throws tyres around for the keeper. What about a kangaroo on a golf course that interacts with people? Partially trained, comes up, it's learnt, you know, wasn't intended to be trained, but it is. So that's opened up. The Act has made it, stipulates that we need to do animal rescue. It's not just a warm and fuzzy, it's in our Act. So The unit I'm from, the Hawkesbury SES unit, we're a large SES unit in the State Emergency Service in New South Wales. We've got 2 rescue trucks that are full-time on the road 24 hours a day. The members drive these trucks 24 hours a day for the response because our area is geographically sparse, which means that if I've got a truck and I need to go for drinks with my friends tonight, as happens sometimes, I need to find one of the other people and go, Sonia, can you take the truck? And we keep those trucks on the road 24 hours a day. We've got 4 four-wheel drives and 11 rescue vehicles and 21 accredited rescue operators that actually man those vehicles. Anyone doing the maths? That's about 1 vehicle per person. It's a massive, massive effort. And that's a big unit. Chris from Dorrigo, he's out a little bit. Where are you from exactly, Chris, in the scheme of things? Hour inland from Coffs Harbour, and has 7 people in the unit. 7 that turn up. You all have lots on the books, the ones that turn up. So there's 7 of them. How many vehicles?
2
and a trailer. 2 and a trailer. So you can see that the State Emergency Service differs from one end to the other. And it's a challenge. So the evolution of animal rescue, very interesting. You know, for the past 25 years, we've been in the State Emergency Service in Hawkesbury, we've been called out to animal rescues. And yeah, we've been there, we've been doing them. You can see, look, black and white photos, that means it's old. If it's black and white, it's old. For all of you kids here that don't know, there used to be these cameras that you put film in, and then you had to take it to the shop. I remember Peter Christoph in the back of the room, he's a firefighter in Burwood, and they used to take photos of their accidents and take it down to the little development place, and the little Chinese guys, no more, you bring them here. They were taking all their accident photos. No, you not bring them. So digital cameras have taken over. But that evolution has, seen some changes. Yeah, we used to go to a horse down in the back of the float. Yeah, we just opened the back of the float. Yeah, we've done that. Hands up. We would turn up at a cow in a dam, and we'd put the rope around the horns and pull it out. Yep, we done that. We would turn up at a cow in a dam like this, and we'd get the old tractor out, and I would strip off to my underpants because I didn't want to get my uniform dirty. So I get down to my undies. Superman wears his undies, don't laugh. So we get down to the undies because I didn't want to get my uniform dirty. I ripped off every layer of PPE I had. Here's a photo of me doing it wrong. I admit it. The reason I admit it is so other people learn and go, there are better ways. Look, there's a crane above my head. That is me. You can tell this bit. That's me. Don't anyone say it's changed. It's a few years ago. So we were doing it wrong. We'd turn up to jobs. I'm fireman. I am a full-time fireman. I go to cats up trees. Easy. The vet here, he turns up, he's on the right, and he's turned up at this rescue. Calls us out, we turn up, and I've gone, bugger. Who wants to deal with this? This is a horse stuck up a tree. Leg in the V of a tree, it is stuck. What do we know to do? No one's trained us to do this. I do road crash rescue, so I stabilise the scene. They teach us to stabilise and grab some hay bales and put in. That's what we do at car accidents. The farmer's running around with a chainsaw. Now, I don't know whether he's going to cut the leg off or the tree down, but either was going to end badly. If you look at the branch, it's about that fat. Now, any of the people in the emergency service who cut down trees, if the branch is that fat, how big's the tree? Where's it going to end up? Well, it wasn't a good job, but we went, you know what? This is easy. We do rescue. We know what we're doing. So we set up a lowering system, set up our abseiling gear onto the tree. Instead of cutting the branch, we went from a pulley on this side of the branch over to that branch. We put a small cut in with a reciprocating saw. It's a battery-powered saw. Why did we use a battery-powered saw? We're lazy. We didn't want to use a handsaw. I thought quiet too. Someone said, why didn't you use a handsaw? I went, because I'm lazy. I don't know. We introduced the cut and then we folded the branch down and we strapped the bottom of the tree so it couldn't snap. Had I been trained to do that? No. But the best thing about having rescue people on scene is they solve problems. And we got away with it. And that horse was 6 weeks later back racing around. Happy end result. Probably a lot of good work from Ian Ducksworth, the vet from Agnes Banks, more than us. We just got it out of there. He got it back. How do we do rescues? In Australia, we're very ingenuitive. We work things out.
Bugger. Bugger me. Bugger. Easy now, son. Ooh, bugger. You burn.
Bugger.
Bugger.
Toyota, the best built cars in the world.
I turned up to a rescue and we've all seen the videos of the farmers and he's got his strap. Anyone that was here yesterday seen them. I turned up and I went, because what would happen, I'm in the fire brigade in Sydney, in the full-time fire brigade with all the city boys, and I come from a country town out in the middle of Booligal, cattle station. So I turn up and this farmer's got, all the boys go, Hatchie, you're from the country. I go, yeah, that don't mean I know how to get a cow out of a bog. And they go, well, how do you do it? And I said, the farmer's going, oh, we'll just wrap a chain around its neck and pull. And I remember seeing this ad. I knew it wasn't going to end well. So I've gone, nah. And he's going, well, what's your idea, Hatchie? Okay, let's put the chain around the neck. It was buried down deep. Oh, didn't know how to get it out. We tried everything. Couldn't dig under it. So, it was a bit of a problem. So there had to be a better way. There definitely had to be a better way. So thanks to Agnes Banks Veterinarian Clinic and a guy called Derek Major. Me and Derek first met at the Olympics. We were at the SES in Sydney International Equestrian Centre where the Olympics were going to be held. Someone quickly went, oh, what if a horse has an accident? We got a plan? And we went, no. So we got together with Derek and we came up with some plans. That was the first time that the vets and the emergency services got together and went, we need to do something. So Derek was instrumental. I went, this is great, Derek. Come and show us some stuff. So around about this time, I thought, I'm going to find out some stuff. I'm an instructor with both the SES and the fire brigade. I thought I'll run a course. You teach me rocket science. I can teach rocket science, but I needed to learn it first. So Google, and Jim Green is not lying when he says www animal rescue comes up with all sorts of things. Mrs. Tiddlywink's hedgehog sanctuary is what comes up. She rehomes lost hedgehog. He is not joking. That was my first site. Next, I found Jim, Rebecca, and another group in the state called John and Deb Fox. And I went, View Beauty. So I'd ring Rebecca up. I'd go, give me some info. So Rebecca would send me heaps of info and videos and stuff. Then I'd ring Jim up. I go, give me some info, mate. Help me out. I've got to run a course. And I'd ring the Foxes up. I'd get all this information. And then I'd run a course with Derek. So we learnt this stuff and we're running courses. And someone's gone, we're looking at photos and a few words written on an email. I'm going, yep, we're doing well. And that was where we first came from. But we were learning. There had to be a better way. Derek was instrumental in helping us develop that training and going, no, because if you put the rope around the neck, its head's, bugger me, it's going to be bad. You go, okay. So the revolution started. We went, you beauty. Then we started doing things a better way. We had to look at how to get animals out safely. Look, wow, we're not in a kick zone. We're not amongst the feet. We've got helmets on, some. I think that's putting it on, not coming on. We're learning how to hold the horse's head. We're learning some techniques, but be it by phone calls, Skype, and a few emails. So we were applying what we learnt. I went to a job with Derek. This is a horse at the bottom of a 100-foot cliff. It fell down that embankment there. See the water down the bottom? Raging river. I've said to Derek, it's on a little embankment. I said, can we swim it out? He said, no, we're going to go up there. And I'm going, no. And he's going, what are we going to do? We're going to tie its legs together and we're going to lift it up. And I went, mate, its legs will fall off. So I'm telling the vet its legs are going to fall off. He said, I tell you what, Hatchie, you worry about lifting heavy things. I'll worry about its legs falling off. Come down to surgery this afternoon and we'll show you how we move horses around every day. So we lift this horse up a 100-foot cliff. Absolutely bizarre, foreign concept to me. And he's sticking needles and crap in it. And I'm thinking, when we do this with people, we have an outrider. I'm going, I am not going up there with that thing. Me and this horse, nah. Going, you know we normally put the paramedic on the stretcher. Yeah. So we learned some different things. We adapted, but we were in the right direction. The revolution grew. Someone said to me, Hatchie, these courses are great, but you really need to go overseas and learn this. Well, I don't. Someone else does, obviously. And they said, no, you need to go overseas. So someone told me to apply for a Churchill Fellowship, Winston Churchill Fellowship. Anyone heard of one? Yeah, a few of us in the room. So I Google, GTS, anyone that knows? Google that shit. That's how I can learn everything. GTS, put it in your vocabulary. So I only learned it off the kids in texting. I go, what's this acronym? Went, fair enough. So I went, every person that got a Churchill Fellowship had more letters after their name than I had in my name. Wasn't going to get one. I walked in and I had about 20 photos, my first interview, of horses up trees, in ditches. This is committee, board meeting. I've walked in, I threw all the photos on the table and I said, every person in this room, and there were no emergency service people, has got the same training as an SES person or a firefighter to rescue those animals. And they're going, really? And I wanted to tell them why I need to go. And they go, well, how'd you get this one out? Or how'd you do this? And I'm going, no, I want to tell you why I want to go overseas and learn. I didn't realise it at the time, but within the first 15 seconds, they decided that we needed to do it. I said, no one in Australia has got the training. We're doing it by guesswork. So I was awarded a Winston Churchill Fellowship in 2009, I think Marianne told me. I lose track of time. 500 gig hard drive, delete, new information in, delete. So important information stays. Ask me a rescue question, we're fine. Anything else, dates and times, bad. So I went over and it was sensational. I met, initially, the foxes, who are a tiny little unit, like Dorrigo. And I learnt how you do animal rescue in the back of nowhere with no resources or anything. That was sensational. I then met Rebecca, who is my counterpart in having fun. We had a ball around the States. We learnt so much. She goes, yeah, we're going to just whip over and we're going to go see the, the mounted police. And they go, you guys want to come? We're going to do guards duty for the president. So we get within, 30 or 40 metres of the president. She can pull strings. It's unreal. So
That was my way.
Yep. So then I go, jump on an aeroplane, and we whip off over to see Jim Green. And Jim was absolutely sensational. He was what I was looking for. Rebecca taught me all the skills, and she teaches firefighters all around the world. But Jim had a county or a state in our sort of terms, and they were doing things methodically like a fire service needs to. Animal rescue level 1, level 2, level 3, policies, procedures, all sorts of things like that. And again, mate, I am a magnet. I will go and take everything I can and go, this bit's really good, this bit's really good, this bit's really good. And I learnt so much off these guys. I went, yeah, this is great. backside of the fellowship is they want you to write a report.
Oh, no.
So I whacked out a 62-page report that listed everything I'd learned, from how you can have Rebecca's got this $1 million semi-trailer with gear and stuff everywhere, and you rock up on the job and there's nothing you don't need. Has that got a coffee machine in it? Probably. It's brilliant. But how to do it at that little Dorigo SES unit in the country. I learnt that. I learnt policies and procedures. We brought all that back, and I went, okay, first 12 months I want to achieve this. First 2 years I want to achieve this. First 5 years I want to achieve this. First 10 years we're going to achieve this. This is where we're heading, and I filled out a whole scope document on where we needed to go. Building large animal rescue capability and disseminating that information. It was great. I was a vessel of knowledge. I knew everything, and I went, this is great, but I am the laziest person in the world. I don't want to have to run around Australia and do this all the time. So then one of my things was train people, train instructors. Not just people. I don't want to go train people. I want to train people who can go out and train other people. And that's where Chris came in as a course. But I knew about how to put ropes and straps on things. I needed to know about animals and the veterinarian side of it. Something I learnt really well while I was overseas, that Australian, or AIMS, the Australasian Interagency Management System, hot zones, warm zones, hands up if you're familiar. A room full of it. Excellent. Animal rescue works exactly the same. We have hot zones, warm zones, cold zones. We set it up that way because it makes sense. We changed the wording a little bit from England so it reflects our incident management system, but it's exactly the same. I go to a chemical incident, I go to a fire, it's exactly the same. So we started workshops, SES workshops, all sorts of things. Then I went, the vets need to do this. I ran into Christine Smith, who hides, so she's down the front, and Christine loves everyone knowing about who she is, so she's down the front, she'll talk later. And Christine was the driving force. She was the president of the EVA, the Equine Veterinarian Association. She drove change for the veterinarians. We got training across Australia for veterinarians. She wrote a little letter to my commissioner going, read Hatchie's fellowship report, really good. Can we do training? My commissioner rings me up and goes, Hatchie, the EVA's read your report, they want to do training. I go, yeah, that's in my 10-year plan. And he goes, can it be in your 6-week plan? You don't say no to the commissioner, do you? 2 weeks of typing, writing, talking to Christine. I go back to him and go, yeah, no, breeze, sir. Done. And then Christine sort of went, yeah, we'll do this. Neither of us knew what it was going to do to our lives. We were away how much of the year? How often were we together going, let's change this, let's do this, let's do this. And then Christine would come up with these ideas. We could train the veterinarian students at schools. Wow. I don't know. And she goes, so they're all like 21-year-old girls. Yeah, you got me. We're there. So we've done a lot of work together. Building large animal rescue capability. For the State Emergency Service, I needed to do all these manuals. Lazy little bugger I am. God, I've got to write all these manuals and stuff. Get this phone call from this lady from Queensland going, Hatchie, it's Marianne Layton here. Yeah, I'm writing a book and, yeah, can you give us a hand? I said, yeah, I'll have a look at it. She sends it down. I go, oh, awesome. Okay, make you a deal. We'll put some effort in if we can use your book as the training manual for our courses. Go back to the boss, got training manual, sir. Marianne says, well, we've got to change, we want some incident command stuff. And I'm going, how good is this? We can write what Australia does. So we put a little bit of an effort in with Marianne, gave it back to her. And I think we were very close to publishing when you called us, and we were on timelines and all sorts of stuff. That's fine, we work under pressure. And we started disseminating the information. We started doing what I'd learned at courses with Rebecca and Jim. This is the fire brigade. We invited the fire brigade. We invited the RSPCA. I ring up them and said, oh, can you come and teach on our course? They go, what are you guys doing? So, oh, we need one of your animal rescue instructors. They go, oh, we haven't got any of them. What are you doing? I explained it. They said, can we have a place on the course? Going, yeah, no worries. 15 minutes later, he rings back and he goes, I got 14 RSPCA inspectors fighting over a place. I rang my boss. I said, oh, yeah, tell them they can come. So we end up training the RSPCA in animal rescue. It's just bizarre how big it got. Large animal operations, applying what we learnt. Just after we ran that training course in Hawkesbury, the first trial one, we ended up, a week later, one of the units that used to pull animals out by the head used the sideways drag, as Jim calls it, or Hampshire skid, as everyone else in the world calls it, because Jim comes from Hampshire. He doesn't refer to it as the Hampshire skid. So when you see the Hampshire skid later on, you know what we're talking about. And we had units using the information they'd learnt straight away. Our unit, we went out to a cow stuck on the river. And we had this rescue glide thing that we'd seen everyone using. So we got one of them, out to a cow on the river, got the vet there, which we learnt, we sedated it, and we used something called a bow loader, a unique boat that we had no use for, but the front fell down on it. And I went, I reckon the cow will fit in the boat. We dragged the cow in the boat and off to a safe area. Great, we've learnt lessons. And then we had, 2 years ago, 4 horses trapped on an island. I got called to go, can you get these horses off the island? The island is shrinking by the minute and they're going to die. National TV coverage, oh shit. I ring up Christine Smith, animal rescue trainer. I get hold of Sonia Hatch, animal rescue trained. I get hold of Slade from the RSPCA, animal rescue trained. I get all of these animal rescue people together. We do a brief. Can we do it? Anyone says no, we're not doing it. End result, we get in there, we get the horses off the island. Would I have attempted that before I had this training from overseas? Not a chance. Would I have attempted it if I didn't have every person on that crew trained? Not a chance. This was in raging floodwater. We managed it. Don't know how. The only thing that came out, see Christine there without the helmet on? This is why we use vets. This appears in the local paper. My ass gets dragged over the coals. Luckily in the debrief, Christine says, oh, that helmet you gave me, it was really uncomfortable and didn't fit properly. So my controller writes down that and we'll get you a new helmet. I get dragged into the office, looking at getting the sack over bad management of a scene. I said, look at the debrief notes. The vet said that the helmet was no good and you're getting a new one, sir. Oh, excellent. So, our challenges. You know, being up to your waist in mud compared to trying to build a statewide capability. Up to your waist in mud's easy. Should we be like that? No, there's new mud paths and all sorts of things. Building a state capability, building a national capability. Basic large animal rescue equipment for every unit, something that we need to look at. Chris Eburn has actually designed a very cheap bar that we can use, and I think from feedback from the world practitioners, it's on the money. It's on the money. So in Australia, we've got people that are leading the world now. Our challenges. Training rescue operators in every unit, not only around our state, but in Australia. Fire Brigade, SES, CFS, CFA, everyone needs this training. Sharing the lessons that we learnt. This week, my unit, done a rescue. Last year, we done rescues. We do about 20 to 30 just in my little unit. Across the state, I had the figures in 2009. There were hundreds and hundreds of animal rescues. There were even more that were never reported. We need to build a state capability, like Jim said, at this level at Australia, where Rebecca taught me a valuable lesson. She said, in America, we all started doing our own thing, and 20 years later when we decided we should be all on the same path, we were buggered. She said, you guys here in Australia at the best place in the world. You are here. So the people I'd like to thank that helped me on this journey, Christine Smith, wouldn't have happened on the veterinarian side. Marianne Layton wrote the Australian manual. Jim, Rebecca and the Foxes, definitely. And every SES person that has ever helped me. They're the reason that we're here On my 10-year goal, we've got one more thing to do. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You need to read the plan, and it's on the internet, Churchill Fellowship, Anthony Hatch. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning for us guys, and we need to work together at a national level. Thank you.